So here we are. This is my husband's size meal. So this is, what's this, John?
I'm not sure.
Is it yummy? So that's his size, and that's my size on a smaller plate. And as you can see, there's stacks left, so there's more than enough for seconds if my husband wants it, and there's enough for him to take to lunch tomorrow. So, you know, it is a reasonable size amount of meals. And this is the walnut and olive tapenade panini with seared Brussels sprouts and cherry tomatoes. I'm going to sit down and eat my dinner now. Morning. So the meal we had last night was very nice. The only criticism I got was the walnuts were a little bitter. And I'd already sprinkled them on my meal before I tried them, so I just picked them off in the end. And I wanted to show you how much we had left, because my husband didn't need seconds after all that, and neither did I. I wouldn't have seconds anyway. But we did have some homemade yogurt with some frozen blueberries in it for dessert, which was very nice. My husband makes really nice homemade yogurt. So this is what's left. So as you can see, it's a Pharaoh casserole dish full of food. So we will have this again tonight for our tea, because nothing gets wasted here. And I'll just loosen it up a little bit. I've got a tin of chopped tomatoes in there, which has got no sugar in them. So I'll chop it up. Mix that in with it to warm it through, and we'll have that for our tea tonight. So as you can see, it's a really good portion size meals. The previous night, the meal, we did eat it all up. I gave my husband quite a large, well, he probably has 2/3 of the meal normally, and I'll have a third. And if he wants a smaller meal, he'll just, like I say, take it the next day for his lunch. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about how I found the changes in my body, what I've noticed, the changes in my body. First of all, I want to say my mood. My mood has changed quite a bit. I seem to be much happier, much more able to cope with day-to-day life. I mean, I know I always seem sort of fairly upbeat and happy, and I usually am, but I do sort of, I get my moments, shall we say, like probably most people do. But I've noticed over this, this 5-week period, that my mood's been quite good, quite uplifted, and I am determined to stay on this diet and to get down to a reasonable weight. And I can probably say that once I make up my mind about something, I am a pretty determined person, stubborn if you like, and I will, I know in my heart that I am gonna get there. The only thing I'll say is I may have a couple of wobbles like I did last week where I was not feeling too good, but they're not going to be a major fallout. Like, I'm not going to rush in the shop and buy a massive bar of chocolate and stuff it in my face, which some people do, and that's fine. I mean, if that's how they make themselves feel better. But I know I probably won't do that. If I'm going to cheat, I'm going to cheat with what's in the house, and there's nothing like that in the house. So it's cheese for me. And I will say the coffee situation is getting a little bit out of hand, if you like. And I've sort of thought about it, and I thought, well, I'm trying to do an awful lot at once. I'm trying to lose the weight. I'm trying to change our diet into this sort of more vegan-based, plant-based, whole foods diet. And, and I've got other things going on in my life with my orchids, and I've just built this new shade house, and, and I've still got another small greenhouse that I've got to put in my orchid house. So I've got quite a bit going on around all the projects that we're doing around here. And so I thought, what the hell, if I want one coffee a day, I will have the one coffee a day in the morning. I just like it in the mornings because it wakes me up. I just like the taste of it, and I don't take sugar or anything in it. All right, yes, I do have milk in it, but I thought it's not a biggie. Although the doctor did tell me to avoid coffee, he didn't say give it up completely, he just said avoid it, because I said I drink it all the time. So I thought, one a day, I will allow myself that little slip up, if you like, or a little mishap, because it's just one a day, and I'm feeling, so much better than I was. The changes I've noticed, apart from last week when I was feeling a little bit unwell, I'm not having so much wind, flatulence, farting. Oh dear, and it's not so smelly. So I'm putting that down to the fact that I'm not eating meat or as much dairy as I used to. Just a minute. Dexy, you're interrupting my programme. Do you mind? There's a toy over there. He's upset because Ruby's pinched his toy. And there's plenty of toys here, but he wants that one. Anyway, so going back to the flatulence, it's not nearly as bad as it was. So that's enough said on that subject. The other thing I've noticed is I feel, and my friend commented this to me yesterday, that she's able to move better. And I agree with her. I agree that I feel that I can move around a bit better. I know I've only lost 9 kilograms, and that's, in the scheme of things, just probably, about a third, just under a third of what I want to lose. But it has made a big difference. And I feel my body's loosened up a bit more. I'm not, I used to sit down of an evening and I'd be sat for maybe an hour or so, and I'd go to get up and I would be really stiff. And things would be like, achy, and I felt like an old person. I mean, I know I'm not young, but I'm 57, and I felt like I was 77 sometimes. So, at least that is loosened up a bit better, and I can, I feel that I can move around a bit more. I've got a whole bunch more energy as well, so I find that I'm not, I can do a task in the garden. And I can finish the task. Sometimes I would get part way through the task when I was, heavy or heavier. And I think, oh, bugger it, I'll finish it tomorrow. And that's not me. I would normally carry on until I finished jobs. And I used to think, oh, what the hell? If I don't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow. But I don't want to think like that. I want to set a task for myself, and I want to finish it. So I get that sense of achievement, which is also a feel-good factor. When you've done something and you've achieved what you set out to do, it definitely is a sort of natural sort of high, if you like. And that's what I want to do. The other thing is I find that I'm definitely not sleeping like I used to. I mean, I've said before in my other vlogs that I would sleep sometimes 12, 14 hours in a 24-hour period, which was ridiculous. And I've put it down to, I would sit down because I couldn't complete the task. I'd come indoors and veg out in my chair, and I would inevitably fall asleep. And I'm putting that down to the fact that I was worn out because I was carrying, I am still carrying a lot of weight, but I was carrying more weight, and I was just tired with it all, and it was all getting, too much. I mean, when I picked up that stack of bricks that my husband made, I thought, Jesus, I'm carrying that around on my body, and you don't realise it. It was a gradual, put on process, and then you get to the point where I thought, God, I'm struggling to cope here. And it actually got to the point, and this is one of the other part of the decision as well why I decided to give up weight. It actually got to the point where I thought, we're going to have to move house. If I can't manage looking after what I've got here, the garden and stuff, because I'm primarily the gardener, if you like. My husband does all the humping, lifting, and does the things that I ask him to do, like, the shade house, etc. But he does do his own veg patch, and obviously looking after the trees and stuff. We're very, very fortunate. We've got a fantastic neighbour, and he will come up and cut trees down. He did some last night for us. So he's that is just brilliant that we've got a neighbour like that. And he loves chainsawing. The guy's nuts, but, and that's great. That's an advantage for us. And So, I was getting to the point where, yep, we're going to have to sell. We even, we looked at houses. We even got agents out to price this house up and to give us some idea what it was worth. And we went off looking at houses, and we got all fired up, and we started looking at sections, and obviously into a more urban environment, still sort of classed as country, but country towns. And yes, the houses were very nice and everything was fine. I mean, obviously they're a lot closer than they are here. I mean, I can't see a neighbour where I am here. I can look at every one of my windows and see just woods or garden. And so I'm very spoilt with that. And I do know that I'm spoilt with that. But we found some properties out in a town called Amberley, which we quite like. It's got everything you need, library, supermarket, doctors, retirement homes. We were actually looking at that as well. And so we decided on Amberley, and we found the sections, the building sections are bigger out there than a normal urban environment. So, maybe a 1,100 square metre section is a good size, because normally that would be half of that in a more urban environment. So, so we could still have a good size plot to do what we want. And then, of course, you've all seen the amount of orchids in my orchid house. We've just built the shade house. You've seen what I've got in the house here. And we would have had to have a purpose-built greenhouse made, which would have been fine. I would have, that my husband accepted that's my hobby and that's what I would do. Because I thought, well, if I haven't got the garden, such a large garden, I've got to have something to occupy my time. And then, we come back one day after looking at, because this house is quite large. I think it's about 280 square metres, including the garage. So it's quite a large house. I mean, I've got 3 bedrooms, an office, a media room, 2 living areas, big kitchen. So we are spoiled, 2 bathrooms by the size of this house. And I did have to have this size because the boys were, when we moved here, I had one boy with me and then one moved out and another one moved back. So that's been happening. Plus my parents were staying with us. We've had friends stay. So we do want that extra little, maybe 2 bedrooms would be enough, plus our room. And anyway, we went off into town and we looked at because we were looking at a section, like I say, 1,100 square metres. We went off into town and we took a look at some of the properties that you can have built. And we set a budget, obviously, because, this is our retirement in this house at the moment. The money, is our retirement fund, if you like. And so we set a budget, and for our budget, the size house that we could have built was, I want to say it was half the space that we've got here. It did have all the rooms, if you like. So it was a 3-bed, 2-bathroom, 2 living. So it was like a kitchen, dining, family, and then a living room. And they were small. I mean, I was quite shocked at how small they were. I mean, I lived in small houses in the UK and I was very happy. And then I've come out here and I've actually been spoilt by the amount of space that is available out here. And they are sort of cottoning on now and sort of building smaller houses because they're cheaper, they're more environmentally friendly, they're cheaper to run, etc. Because I've been spoilt by the space and I've got that plant room, and I thought I've still got to have a plant room, so where am I going to put things? And I don't want to sound selfish in a way that I've got this space. I'm very, very grateful for the fact that I've got this space, but it was an eye-opener for me. And so that really sort of made me think. Well, we came home and we walked in here and we sort of looked at each other. We said, what are we doing? We're only in our 50s. We don't really need to move because, the space is great. And I thought, I can't cope with the garden. And it's because I'm overweight. And that is not helping. So it was right. It's time. Not only could I see the path health-wise, I could see the path for me ending up prematurely in a more sort of retirement situation. you know, and I'm not ready for it. Mentally, I'm not ready for it. My body was, but mentally I wasn't. So therefore, that was another big factor in the decision as well. So, and I'm glad, you know, I'm glad already, only after 9 kilos, I'm feeling more energetic, more optimistic, more positive, and, you know, and really determined to achieve my goal. So that's the ramble. And I will also put up a little, well, I may not do it today, but I'll do another video of the meal that I'm going to cook tonight, so you can see what that entails. Oh no, sorry, no, not tonight, because we've got the leftovers, but on Friday. I've cooked the last vegan meal that we had this week, and I will show you what that looks like as well, so you can see. I'll show you the ingredients, and then I'll show you the meal at the end after I've prepared it. So anyway, I really appreciate all your support. It is absolutely fantastic. And I was surprised at how many people follow my gardening, orchids and gardening channel, that have sort of come over to this channel and are very supportive. And some of them have given me their stories about how they've lost a lot of weight and how they've, you know, managed to achieve it. And I'm really, really proud of the people that's done it and happy for them. And it just goes to show there are lots of people out there that you don't realise, you know, they've got things going on in their lives as well, and you sort of give them comments on their videos and stuff, but you don't realise, you know, they're in a situation very similar to yours as well. And it's great that people come and admit that and talk about it, and it's really good. So I do appreciate all your comments. And please, you know, carry on. Any comments is fine. I think, yes, the comments are public, but if you want to PM me, that's fine. I'm quite happy with that. Or on Messenger. I'm probably easy to find on Messenger, you know, the PM Messenger. So, you know, if you want to, that's absolutely fine. So thanks for watching. Please like or dislike and subscribe, and I'll catch you again. I'll catch you later. Until next time. I need to do a different thing at the end on this one because it's a different channel, and I'll figure out something as well. And by the way, my husband wants me to change the channel name, which I am thinking of doing because he seems to think it's quite hard to find. So I may sort of name it around sort of more vegan-y, because it's, you know, if people are looking for vegan, then hopefully my channel will pop up. But you know, it's not for me to get tons of subscribers. It's basically me talking to you. I know I'm talking to people and myself, you know, and it just helps get it out and discuss it, because most people aren't really interested, you know. It's boring for a lot of people, but other people are interested. So anyway, ramble over. Thanks for watching. Bye.